Hey everybody, welcome to Fortunate Creations. I'm Kim and this is a channel where we talk about everything to do with crafting. So from amigurumi to weaving and anything in between, if you like crafting and being creative, stick around. I think you're going to like it here. So today I'm going to show you how to make sun catchers from driftwood and from old necklaces. So here we go. Here's my latest one. And you can see I took driftwood. I used some old necklaces that I found at a thrift store, and I put a little glass bird on the top, and there you go. The sky's the limit when making these. So let's make one together. You ready? Let's go. Okay, so we have everything we need to make the sun catchers. We have some pretty jewelry. I'm going with all purple. So all different kinds of purple. I have my driftwood that I picked out for it. I have the little teeny screws that I'm going to put on the driftwood, a measuring tape so I can make sure I space them out as evenly as possible. I have a needle nose plier so I can pull the jewelry apart. And that's pretty much everything I need. So I'm going to go ahead, and it's going to be different for everybody because we all have different necklaces. I'm going to separate each one of these long necklaces into 2 strands. So I'm just separating the necklaces, and then I go ahead and clamp those shut. Get that sticker off me. And here's another strand. I actually have the hot glue gun on so I can tack up the end of these. Good to have a hot glue gun available if you have one. If not, obviously you work around it, but if you do have one, it's great to have. So this is a little bit different than the other part of it, which is great and fine. So I'm going to go ahead and open it right here. Okay, set that aside. Don't get rid of any of the ones that you take apart because you never know. Close that back up. You never know what you're going to be using at a later date for a different project, right? So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to open this here. Some of them are a little sturdy. I'm going to set that aside. Now I'm going to keep this one closed because I need this hook. I'm going to go ahead and use that hook. So don't set that too far away because I'm actually going to take this hook off of here. And attach it onto the end. Sorry if you hear my dog barking. And I'm going to attach it to the end of this one to make it easier to hang it on there later. It's a nice quick way. And this way, when you make your sun catchers, you can always take them apart and make another one for different seasons. So it's another fun way to change things up. Okay, what one's next? Let's get another. Let's do this one. This one's super long. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and find the center of it. And the center happens to be on either side of this big bead here. So I'm actually going to cut this one into several. This one's long enough that I can go ahead. I'm going to cut it here. And then I'm going to go ahead again and cut it there. So I'm going to get 4 out of this one, which is awesome. I always lay them down because you never know when beads are going to go flying. Okay? When you cut things apart. Because a lot of times you just do not know where they end. So keep things kind of close to the table so that you know if something does drop, you're not going to be chasing beads all over the place. And then, of course, I have these on here, which is awesome. Set these. Any ones that fall off, go ahead and set them aside. Can always use them as decoration. You can always use them later in other projects. I never throw out beads or sparkly things that I have from project to project. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and snip this off here and snip that one off there. And here I have 4 out of 1 necklace. So that is really cool. And again, if any of these come out, you can always rethread them through with a needle, or if you're patient enough, you could just do it with your hands. So either way to make it work, okay? Don't get discouraged if they start falling off on you, because it's going to happen. They're beads and they're meant to do that, okay? So just try to be a little patient and slide it right in place. Just want to make sure they're going to sit still, right? Make sure the beads are sitting where they belong and sitting still. Okay, I'm going to set that aside to dry right where I want it to. Make sure these are doing what I want them to. And if they're not, I'll go ahead and glue them right on there. Make sure that gets in there. Okay. The last thing you want to do is hang up your sun catcher and have the beads fall off, right? Now, the other ones that I have the chain on, they're individually clipped on here, so they're not going anywhere. All right, now let's take our driftwood. You want to measure how long it is. You also want to take into account, you don't want to go too close to the ends, because it is old wood and it will split apart. Okay, so what you want to measure is the strongest part of the stick. Okay, and on this one, it's about, I'm going to go from right here to about, so we'll do 0 to 7.5, okay? Now you want to make sure that you spread out your little hooks as evenly as possible. Again, nobody's grading your work, so it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be rocket science, but you need to get it as even as possible so that when you do your sun catcher, it will hang balanced, okay? So what I do is I take a marker, and what is that saying? Measure twice, cut once, right? So let's take a look and see which would be the best part hanging down. This here, right? That'd be on top of that. Okay, so here's going to be the part, and you got to keep in mind there might be knots in this wood, and they're going to be harder to screw into. So you might have a little bit of a fight on your hands with that. So we'll go from here. We're going to do 7 inches to work with, okay? So keeping in mind, I'm going to go here, here, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now you don't have to have 6 of them. Excuse me, you don't have to have 6. You could have 3. You could have, as many as will fit. But you want to go ahead and try to get them as evenly spread out as possible. And then what I do is I just take my marker, let's go ahead and do 6 inches. So I'm going to put 1 on every inch. 1, 2, 3. That one might give me concern, but we'll keep going. 4, 5, 6. The reason I say that one might give me a concern is because of the knot that's right there. But let's go ahead and try. Now I have used a little mini drill on those before. So what you're going to do is just take this and screw it in to the driftwood right where you have it marked. Now be careful not to jiggle it around too much, because like I said, this is old wood. So it may break, it may crack, it's not solid. While you're screwing them in, make sure they all end up facing the same direction, okay? So that your necklaces can hang the same direction. And I lucked out. This is a soft enough piece of wood that this knot is not giving me trouble. Okay. Again, don't over tighten. If you do over tighten, you might strip it and then you're going to have to either go to a different spot on the wood or something because it will not work good. All right. We got half of them in. Please excuse my cough drop. Slight coughing fit there. Tried to hide it from you, but these colds just don't want to give up on me this year. Well, technically it's the first one of the year, but it's been my second one in a few months. Okay, we got one here. Nice and tight. One more time around, and then the last one. Perfect. I lucked out with this piece of wood. Now, this one, when you have wood this soft, I would suggest hanging it inside in the window. I do have some of these that are strong enough where I have them outside on the deck. But for the most part, I think when you're making them like this, you're going to want to keep them inside. Okay. So here we go. You're going to notice looking at it, it's not a straight line, but that's fine. Once you get them all hung up, they'll be good as gold. Now, we're going to hang the ones that have the hook first. Okay. And it really is as simple as taking the part of the necklace that normally is the clasp. And sometimes you got to jiggle it. There we go. Clips right on there, okay? Let's get the next one on here. And this one I got to use my pliers here. And this might be the part where you start looking at a pattern. Do I want, two of the same? Do I want too long? Do I want too short? Again, you can change them, of course, but start looking at how you want your pattern to be. Okay, so I'm going to do this one here, and then this one. And then I think I'm going to have two of the same in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So I think I will do these two in the middle. So now I want to take this one, since it's like this one, and I'm going to put it on the outside. And I do have to put a clasp on this because it is the other end of the necklace that doesn't have a clasp. So I can either take one of these chain loops and put it in here, or I could actually just do this. Again, we're being creative. We're using what we have, limiting, you don't have to really buy a lot of stuff for this. It's a fun craft. And you just use what you have, Now I'm just thinking this is going to go down just that many. So I want it. I'm going to actually take this off about this far. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clasp that on there. Excuse my arm for a minute. Squeeze that right on there. Okay. And then I'm going to take the match to this one. And I'm going to hang that one up here on that side, where my needle nose pliers. The only downfall with using one necklace as two strands is obviously one end is not going to have the clasp on it. So you have to finagle it to do as you wish. So sometimes it's a bit stronger. There we go. So we'll get this slid right in here. Did I do it wide enough? Yep, just barely. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and pinch that shut with the needle nose pliers. Sometimes my fingers get in the way. End up pinching myself. Go. So, all right, so now I have the two like ones in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and clasp that one on. That's the easy one. And then I'm going to work with this. Now that's pretty hefty. I'm not even sure I can get that one open. So let's see if I can hold it with one set of pliers and open it with the other one. Ha ha ha, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to put this around here and get the pliers again. Close it up nice and tight. Okay, so now I have them all laid out in the pattern that I want them. And you can go ahead, oh, sorry about that, I bumped the camera. You can go ahead and trim off any of the extra. Just be careful not to trim the beads themselves. So, okay, so that's there. Now, we have to do a handle, okay? You can do it two ways. You can do two separate hooks on either end and just leave it as hooks. You could try, well, actually, you can do it three different ways. You could try to find the center and just do one hook in the middle, in the center. What I normally do is I put one hook on each end, and then I use a chain or something pretty to use as the handle to hang it with. So I'm going to go ahead, just give myself an eyeball of where it should go right here on this side. Turn that in. This is a very soft wood. Like I said, you may even want to put a drop of hot glue in there if you have a really soft piece of wood like this, just to play it safe so that they don't fall out over time. Again, make sure it's standing up straight and it's facing the same direction when you get both of them in. Okay. And you want to get them as close to even on the ends as possible so that, you know, it's going to look pretty, right? Okay. So we're going to make it stand up straight, face the same way. And what do I want to use as my chain to hang it up with? I do have something sparkly and pretty and purple over here. Let's try this. So let me get, oh yeah, this will work perfect. So I have a necklace right here that really wouldn't do well for the hanging down the sparkly parts because there's not that many beads on it. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. You can normally see where the chains meet, you know. And I'm going to go ahead and reuse this. Or it won't even fit on there, will it? It will. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach this right on here. And this is really a fun craft to do with the kids. The product you get at the end is such a great gift. You could give it mom for Mother's Day or grandma for being grandma or whatever reason you want to. I mean, it really is a fun, easy craft and the kids love it. So it's a win-win for everybody, you know. Easier to straighten things out like that. Wrap it around like this. Will it fit? I believe it will. Nice and snuggly. So let's see. Here's the end. here's the last loop. We're going to snap that together. There we go. All right, get ready for the big reveal. Here we go. All right, so I went ahead and I added some extra jewels on the top. That's just another way for the sun to catch it and to make it even prettier. So you can see I'm going to have the light sparkle on this a little bit, and you can see how pretty it is. So there it is, a quick, fun way to make sun catchers. You can hang them in the windows, hang them where the sun's going to come up in the morning or where you're going to catch a pretty sunny afternoon. And yeah, they make great presents. They're a great craft for kids. It's a good time to do it on a rainy afternoon so that you can have them looking forward to the sunshine. And remember, again, if you want to trim off this on the bottom, go ahead, but be careful. Don't get too close to the beads. So there you go. A fun craft to do with the kiddos. Remember, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, a share, a subscribe. Check out all of my other videos. I have lots of playlists and lots of fun crafts you can do with the kids or even with yourself. So thank you so much for your time. I hope you were able to make your own sun catcher. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and I hope you will always be creative. I'll see you next time.